Live. Start the.
ॐ सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम् ॐ. In the previous class, we saw the introduction to this series, which we have titled as Introduction to Vedanta. And this and from that example, over. There seems to be some problem with the recording. Is the laptop on battery or on power? Or battery is good. Energy saver is on. Not working. Always, the second class is very important. So there is something called Dvitiya Vignan. So the second class, once a person makes it for the second class, there is a saying that, he or she will be able to continue the study without any obstacle. So second class becomes very important to make the entire study obstacle-free. And because of the importance of the second class, we see that we're already into a lot of problems to even begin the class. Something that has never let us down. The audio recording is causing a problem. we go in with the open recording. அது ஒரு தடவை அந்த கவரில் வச்சுட்டு
Okay. Om, 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 Om. Working. Okay. All right. So good that it happened in the beginning of the class and not in the middle of the class. In the previous class, we saw this hoarding example of the dog and the cat. Anandanji, please come front. We saw this example of the dog and the cat, and from that we understood that there are two types of knowledges. The first one is the indirectly beneficial knowledge, and the second type is the directly beneficial knowledge. What is this indirectly beneficial knowledge? Indirectly beneficial knowledge means that knowledge which does not give the benefit directly. Yes, that's what it reads. That means I have to do something after acquiring the knowledge to convert it into, or to enjoy the benefit, to draw the benefit out of it. I have to do something to convert the knowledge. The knowledge has to be converted into any possession, name, fame, money, whatever, so that I draw benefit out of it. And what is directly beneficial knowledge? Mere knowledge alone is enough to give the benefit. There is nothing else that I need to do after the knowledge or following the knowledge. This is called directly beneficial knowledge. And we saw that our scriptures, Vedanta Shastra, deals with this second type of knowledge called directly beneficial knowledge. That is where the knowledge alone is enough for me to cross over my pain, sorrow, fear, the smallness, or this notion of lacking, the sense of lacking that I have, that I miss something. This notion or this thinking that I am insignificant, we saw that this is a notion, and this notion we termed it as the core problem of the human beings. The cause of this problem, that I am insignificant, is not knowing the reality or the truth of myself. Therefore, self-ignorance is the cause of the notion of self-insignificance. So self-ignorance leads to self-insignificance, which further leads to my helplessness, where I am not able to do anything about improving my condition. And with the increased amount of helplessness, we saw that I lose the capacity to trust this world or anything around me. And I am into this constant struggle to cross over my helplessness. And I come across in this process, as part of leading my day-to-day life and as part of my struggles, I meet a lot of people and I come across a lot of systems in the society that promise me a relief. and all those systems which promise a relief in future, provided the conditions are followed, we saw them that they are a set of non-verifiable beliefs. Now, can I trust them because they are not verifiable? Will I be able to trust something like that? Or what is that I can confidently place my trust on? I can only trust something that is verifiable here and now. I should be able to verify it here and now. And that something that I trust should not be subject to any negation, any sort of negation. It should be valid. Its validity should be evident to me. At this juncture, where I have lost trust on everything around me, while my helplessness is continuing, and I have not found a way out to address my core problem, this is where we saw that Vedanta is sitting there with a board, "May I help you?" Therefore, Vedanta gives this knowledge which we saw is a directly beneficial knowledge, the liberating knowledge, knowing which I will be free from my core problem as I live my life. So I don't need to do anything about the life that I lead. There is nothing that I need to change. It is only that I need to know. It is only that I need to know to be free from all the problems that I am facing now. Now, this knowledge we saw that Vedanta gives is called Atma Vidya. Atma Vidya literally translates as self-knowledge. Atma means self and Vidya is knowledge. But do I have the capacity to study it myself, to know it myself? No, I don't have the capacity to know it myself. Why? Because Atma Vidya, as the name suggests, it is self-knowledge. It is knowing about myself. And we saw the example of the mirror, where to look at my own face, I don't have a means, but I need to take the help of the mirror. And even when I have the mirror in front of me, unless I have a good functioning pair of eyes, I will not be able to see my image in the mirror. I will not be able to know my face or see my face. Yes. So I need a mirror and I also need a functioning pair of eyes. Akin to this, Shastram is often compared to a mirror which shows myself, which unfolds the reality of myself. So Shastra that reveals the reality of the self is often compared to the mirror, and therefore it is called Shastra Darpanam. Darpana means mirror. There is a very similar word in Sanskritam which is Tarpanam. Okay, Tarpanam and Darpanam are not one and the same. Tarpanam means the ritual that is performed to the forefathers, okay, on specific dates. And that is different. That is Tarpanam, that is Tha. This is Da, Darpanam. So, Shastra is called Shastra Darpanam, means the mirror of Shastram. And we saw that I also need a functioning pair of eyes. So, what are those eyes that I need to see myself clearly using Shastra Darpanam? That is nothing but the eye of intelligence. I need to have a prepared mind. Where I have a prepared mind, it is only when one has a prepared mind and where one exposes himself to the teaching, to the systematic teaching of Shastram, that one will know himself or herself. There is a Subhashitam in Sanskritam which says, Yasya nasti swayam prajna shastram tasya karoti kim lochanabhyam vihinasya darpanaha kim karishyati. It says, Yasya nasti swayam prajna. The one who does not know or who does not understand the very core problem, that he is having a core problem. You know, that basic thinking process itself has not happened. That he is helpless. If somebody has not diagnosed this itself, Shastram tasya karoti kim? What will Shastram do, or what use would Shastram be to that person? And here the Subhashitam gives this example. It says, Lochanabhyam vihinasya darpanaha kim karishyati. Just like how for a blind person, mirror will not be of any use. In the same way, for a person who is not able to appreciate his problem or see or think through the helplessness that he is given to, he will not be able, or for him, Shastram will not be of any use. Therefore, an intelligent person will be able to examine the experiences of his life and will be able to diagnose this core problem that he has. And where one has diagnosed this problem, has identified that he has this problem, and where Shastra comes to his rescue and he draws the best benefit out of Shastram. And he gets, or he or she gets, this liberating knowledge, which is the directly beneficial knowledge. But we saw that this study should not be all by myself. I should go to a teacher, a guru. So the teacher teaches. What does the teacher teach? The teacher teaches all the stuff he or she believes to be correct? No. Where we say guru or a traditional teacher, the guru and Shastra are inseparable. Guru is always with the Shastra and Shastra has to be always with the guru. So Shastra enquiry has to be done only with the help of the guru. When we say Shastra Darpana, it is in fact the words of the guru which act as the mirror. Therefore, we saw that the guru and Shastra are inseparable, and Shastra without guru will not be of use to you. You will not understand. And where the guru is a guru without Shastra, it is very dangerous. He or she will not be able to guide you properly. That is why we saw that the tradition is more important. In the previous class, we saw this, that the tradition is more important than the person. And it is the tradition, it is the traditional teaching that makes the difference. We will see more about the guru, the shishya, and the teaching later on in the classes that come up in this series. Now, this world around me, I see, comprises of living and non-living things. There are both living and non-living things. You have table, chair, tree, dog, cats, everything, right? And these living beings like dogs, cats, and all these animals, they are aware of themselves to some extent. Because a dog can identify a dog, it does not confuse with a cat. And a cat knows its species, it also knows the dog, it knows that there is a danger with the dog. Right? So, and they are happy doing whatever they are doing. Unless somebody comes to threaten their life, something happens. That, they understand they are in danger. A monkey that lives in the tree, isn't it happy doing whatever it is doing? Definitely. So all these animals with 4 legs or whatever are happy leading their lives. What about this human being with 2 legs? So, it does it make me, just because I walk in 2 legs, does it make me greater than the animals? In fact, this human being is the one who is more unhappy than all the other beings. Right? Now, this cow or a goat is a vegetarian. And for how long the cow has been vegetarian? The cow has been vegetarian all its life. Huh? Cows have been vegetarian for how many centuries? Right from the time the cow was created until now, the cow it has never been its choice to taste non-veg. Right? So cow goes from here, there are these wonderful cows, Gir cows of Gujarat, which are supposed to be one of the top breeds. There is somebody who purchased Gir cows from Gujarat to the US. And the cow was sent to the US. So the cow is now flying to the US on site. So the cow goes there. So once the cow, it was a Jain cow, as long as it was in Gujarat. And now it has gone to the US. So what happens? I can have a little bit. No. The cow sticks to vegetarianism, and tigers, what do tigers do? They eat cows. For how long? Right from the time they were created. That is how tigers are. Right? So cows are vegetarians and tigers are non-vegetarians. What about these human beings? Human beings, do they eat animals? Yes, they do eat animals. So how different are you from a tiger? How more evolved are you from a tiger? Maybe, a human being buys some meat, he refrigerates and he keeps the meat and has it as, there's something called this frozen food culture. That was, I have initially seen that in the Western countries, and now, they have peeped into India also. You have a lot of this frozen food culture. Tiger doesn't go in for frozen food. It catches its prey, it eats for that meal, and it forgets about it. It doesn't, catch one more and refrigerate for dinner. Okay? Or for tomorrow. It doesn't say that. That is done only by human beings. How better are you from a tiger? You know something? Dogs can hear better than you. Dogs can hear better than you. Animals lead a very, very healthy life, and they don't need specs after the age of 40, at least. They don't need hearing aids. And they don't have complexes, And the best part about animals is they don't have diabetes. They don't have blood pressure problems. Right? But you know what? All these rats are tested with the medicines that are to be given to human beings, are made for human beings. All the diabetes medicines are tested on rats. Yeah, the rats are clinically made diabetic and they are tested for diabetes medicines. How sad. Animals have the capacity to interpret nature better than you. A bird knows which fruit is really sweet. Do we know that? We don't know. Which fruit is ripe and which one is not? We don't know. Right? So, in fact, we don't even know how real the food that we eat is. But the animals have this sense of judging whether it is good or not good. But only these human beings are the people who keep claiming I am peculiar. Animals don't say I am peculiar or I am greater than you, I am better off than you. It is only human beings that claim these things, right? Animals are far more simple. In fact, I will say animals are far predictable. You know you should not go near a tiger when it is hungry, right? And after it has had its food, it will not bother you. But can you predict a human being's mentality, whether he'll pounce on you or not? At what time or what mood one would be at 8 a.m. in the morning? What mood one would be at 10:30 in the morning? Do you know? Or would you be able to predict at least yourself? If you can tell how you would be 2 hours from now. Huh? Or do you plan something like that? No, totally unpredictable, no, unpredictable. So in all these ways, human beings are very, very different. And human beings are also conscious about themselves, himself or herself. You are able to say, you are able to perceive a lot of things, you are able to say a lot of things about yourself. Human beings are able to say that I am a black or I am a white. This black-white concept is from the West. You know, in India, we don't say black-white. We have a different system here. We say dark and fair. If you go to the matrimonial websites, that is how we are all classified. At least all the boys and girls out there are classified as dark and fair. And there is one unique complexion which is nowhere else in the world, which is only in India. You know what is it called? It is called wheatish. Yeah. And somebody who says wheatish, it only means that he or she is not able to accept that they are dark. At least their parents cannot accept that. Yeah. So, monkeys also are of different colors. You see different color monkeys, but there is no complex. You know, this dark monkey is not having complex about this wheatish monkey. Or wheatish monkey is not having complex about the fair ones, right? Only human beings have all these complexes. Therefore, who is a human being? Human being is the only one in this planet that has complexes. The only one in this planet. Out of innumerable species that live on this planet, it is only this human being who is unique. Why? Complex. Now tell me, who is more evolved? If I have to be evolved, then I should actually be free from all these complexes, right? But I find in a given situation, some people have more complex, whereas some people have very less complex in the same situation. And how do we understand the people out there? We say the one who are with lesser complex. The lesser complex, we call them more mature, evolved. Lesser the complexes are, the simpler they are, we consider them to be more mature. Now, having said that, in a given situation, people behave differently because of different complexes. Therefore, it is very clear, what is clear? That the problem is not with the situation, because the situation being the same, people react differently to the same situation. Therefore, the problem is not with the situation. Where is the problem? The problem is psychological only. The way one looks at the situation, the way one understands or judges the self based on the situation. Yes. So, I already have this notion of smallness, that I am limited, that I am of limited knowledge, limited talent, limited skills, limited power, limited wealth, limited money, limited beauty, limited height. And I think people don't have complex of limited weight, maybe of the other way around, right? So now, there is one example that Pujya Swamiji often gives in his classes. This is a classic example that Pujya Swamiji gives, which I would like to quote here. So it's a very nice example. There are these dog shows, right? Where of a dog show, right? In the West, it is very common, at least. So the owner of the dog takes the dog to the contest, and the race or whatever the contest happens. Now, who comes to the contest? The dogs don't come by themselves. In fact, they don't even know that they are participating in the contest. They don't even know that they have won or they have lost. They don't understand all that. The owner of the dog brings the dog to the contest, and it is the owner of the dog that celebrates. The owner of the dog that won, that celebrates, leaving all the other owners jealous and with complex, right? And we have a contest too. I understand this Miss World contest. Now, what is this Miss Universe? Okay. I also understand that there is something called Mr. Universe, which is very unpopular, I believe. I think it's only Miss is very popular. Yeah. So, how do somebody call themselves as Miss Universe? All right, maybe one can call herself as Miss Universe unless people from the other planets or galaxies come and contest with you. Until then, maybe you are the Miss Universe. People really don't know who is the real Miss Universe. And human being with all these kind of things, don't you find them very funny? So, the dogs don't want to prove that they are the best. They don't get into that mode. But the owner of the dogs wants to prove. The dog does not hold the trophy. Who holds the trophy for the dog winning the contest? It is the owner that holds the trophy. And the other owners are sad. The dogs that lost, are they sad? The dogs are not sad. Maybe they wonder why this fellow is sad. Why this fellow is, something wrong with this fellow. He was all right some time back, and now he's having a long face. So human beings, don't we see that we are such complex idiots? For want of a better word. So always there is this constant attempt to be different from what one already is. Always. You see people coloring their hair. The black hair ones want blonde hair, or something of that shade. And all the blonde hair ones want blonde or black, or some exotic colors. They color it with pink and green and whatnot. And there is this complex on eyebrows. Yeah, there is a lot of money that people make with these beauty parlors and women coming into the beauty parlor, because everybody is so obsessed about an ideal self that they want to be in terms of their looks. And this complexion and all the fairness treatment with respect to wealth, again, there is a lot of attempt to constantly, to be different from what I am now. I'm not happy with what I am now, and I want to be different. Money, possessions, just anything. So what I want to be different from now how all I want to be different varies from one person to other. I have a list and the other person has another list. So what I want to be different may vary, but that I want to be different is common among all human beings. It is a universal problem. And this person is already given to a lot. And he wants to be free from the lot. If not, at least, if not, even if I'm not able to be happy without all those problems, or, remain fulfilled without those problems, at least, I seek some basic relief from the current situation that I'm going through. At least, that much. This human trait is called Purushartha in our scriptures. Purushartha or Purushartha. And our scriptures define Purushartha as Sarvaihi Purushaihi Arthyate. Sarvaihi Purushaihi Arthyate, meaning that which is desired by all human beings. Sarvaihi Purushaihi, by all human beings. Arthyate, that which is desired, sought after. So when you ask a person what he wants, he may say, I want a better job, say for example, or I want to get married, or I want a girlfriend, or whatever. Now, does this person have the same want at all times? No. Next year he will have something different, right? So these wants are different from person to person, and not only that, it is different from time to time for the same person itself. So what one wants may be different from person to person, or even for the same person from time to time. But that one wants to be different from what he or she is now is common for all. And that seems to be constant also. Something I want different, something. Right? So, I have a desire. What is the desire about? I desire a self. I have a desired self in my mind, which according to me is the acceptable self. I want myself to be like that, and only that is acceptable to me. Being whom I can relax. Yes, that is the end of it. This is what I want to do. Buy this, buy that, keep this, save this, invest this, and have all this money, and then retire. Enjoy retired life, something like that. So I have a desired self in my mind as what I want to become. And all these desires I have, Shastra calls it Purushartha. And in every Purushartha, what is there? There is a desire. Desire. There is a desire, there is a desirer also. Who is the desirer? The desirer is I. And all that I desire is centric on me. And the desired is what? That desirable I. Right? So, something is very, very clear now. As I am now, I am undesirable for me. For me, as I am now, today, right now, I am undesirable. Because I have a lot of desires, right? That desirable self I want to be, I want to become. So as I am now, I am undesirable. At the same time, for me only I am undesirable, okay? For the world, as I am now, I want everybody to approve of me, recognize me. Right? For everybody in this world, I should be desirable. Right? But for me, as I am now, I am undesirable. A peculiar situation, a peculiar guy this human being is. So the present me, the present self, I am an undesirable person to me. And because of that, I struggle and keep on making attempts to become the desirable person to me. According to me, whatever the desirable person I should be, I envision, I want that, I desire, I want that. And this is exactly called the core human problem. This is the human problem. You know, where one is frustrated with all this and he looks at his dog. He may say, had I been a dog, my lot would have been far better. At least I would not have had all these problems. Right? So, I don't like this human life. All these kind of dialogues are spoken when somebody is really, bored with life, or life presses him and he is helpless, not being able to see the desired self he wants to be. This self-disapproval leads to self-hatred. Such a sorry state. So, I want to be the self that is approvable to me. Even if others say you are wonderful, I am not happy. Because I have a long list of all the blanks that I want to fill up. Right? So no amount, and somebody tells you, no, you should not be pessimistic. You have to be positive. Start developing this positive thinking. You have groups of people in the society. You will always have a group who is telling you this. I'm telling you, no amount of positive thinking will work. I'm telling you, no amount of positive thinking will work here. Yes. People will say, why? You have this, you have that, you have a car, you have a food to eat, you have a nice house, you have nice people around you. There are people in this world who don't have food to eat. Look at them. You have a car. There is a person who doesn't even have a car. Look at them. You have a house. There are so many people who are homeless. Look at them. You have good parents. There are so many orphan children. Look at them. Now the problem is, I don't deny all that I have. Yes, I have all that I have. Right? Say if somebody wants to have a thick, black, long hair. Okay? At least a man who wants to have a nice, thick hair. Maybe he feels I could have had a little more hair. At least, after all the try that he has made, all the efforts that he has given in. Now this positive thinking guy comes and tells him, now you have to look at those people who are totally bald. See how blessed you are. At least you have a little bit of hair. That won't work. That won't work, I'm telling you. Maybe you will feel nice when you look at him. And after that fellow goes and the other one comes with nice hair, what will happen to your positive thinking? It's gone. It is shattered. You know why? Because that I don't have what I desire is as much real as all that I am blessed with or all that I have. If you are going to tell me about all that I have, I will say all that I don't have is also real. Right? So, and the other person will say, no, see, in everything you have gains and losses. Life is full of gains and losses, and you just can't choose to have only gains and no loss. It is all about making more gain and less loss, and that's how you settle it. Will that work? No. I will still lack something, and I will still desire for something that I don't have. Because I want a self that does not lack anything at all. That is how I want myself to be. I don't want anything. I don't want to lack anything. And the whole life I spend becoming that somebody who doesn't lack anything. I have a list of all the wants that I want to, or all the lackings that I have to fill up. A big list, right? And every process I struggle to achieve this self I want to be. Every process I try and try and try. Am I happy? Yeah, sort of, yes, but not totally happy because I still have something. I aim for it, I achieve it. I thought it is over, I thought it will be over, but no, I have another big list, right? I thought buying a house will satisfy all my wants, but after I bought the house, I understood there are more wants. Initially, I had only buying a house, one want. Now I have some more. I have to buy a sofa, I have to buy a carpet, I have to buy a bigger TV, I have to do this, I have to do that. Yeah. So, there is always something that I want more, something more that I want. Just go around interviewing people who are much older than you and try asking them whether they have led a life which is fulfilling, whether all their wants have been fulfilled in life. Try to find out whether you can meet with one person who will say that all my wants are completely fulfilled and I don't have anything that I lack. I don't have anything that I lack. In this process, I will see that there is nobody who will say this. Right? So always people chase that desired self they want to be. And with this, with my experience and hearing and seeing the others lead their lives, I understand that there is no process that would bring about, there is no change that would bring about the desired person, the desirable person that I have always wanted. Right? So, any process or change is not going to work. It didn't work for anybody. It didn't work for my father, for my grandfather, for my neighbor, for my brothers, for my friends, for anybody who I have asked this question to, right? So, any process or change that I attempt to make, I struggle to make from what I am now is not going to work. Okay. So, what do? Try to become something without undergoing any change or process, right? So I couldn't become the self I want to be through any process or change. So what do? Become the self, the desired self, without undergoing any process. How does this sound like? Are you all with me? You're with me? How does this sound like? Somebody comes and tells you, see, I want to become this desired self I want to be. But I have been trying for years together, decades together to become that desired self. But I could not become. So I am not going to do anything to see whether I become. What is wrong with you? Something wrong with you? That is what we will ask that person, right? So, say I want to be rich and no process has helped me to become that ideal person. Say something like the richest man in this world, I don't know who he is, that blessed man. You want to be that person. George Soros, I don't know. I don't know, not him, even I don't know. So, if you want to be somebody like that, and all your efforts were in vain, you couldn't achieve that, turnover or the income that you want to see. So, no process could help you reach the desired self. So, you do nothing, is it, to become rich? Will that help? No, it cannot help. So process or change or efforts doesn't help in becoming the desired self. Or even if I achieve something, my desires don't stop. It keeps growing, right? So where a process or change itself cannot fulfill my desire, then how can without any process or change help in becoming the desired self? No way I can be different. No way I can be different. So with process, I am not able to be different. Without process, I cannot be different. What is this state called? Sheer helplessness. My helplessness is continuing. and I am not able to do anything about it because the notion of inadequacy continues. The notion of self-conclusion that I am lacking continues. And there are people in the society, we saw that they promise you some relief, may not be now, at least posthumous, which we saw are called non-verifiable beliefs. We have it in our system also, where people talk to you about traveling to various lokas. Okay? Traveling to various lokas, which is a result of bhakti or result of religious practices, and all the benefit comes when? After death, posthumous, right? So all those things that are promised to you at a future date or after death or whatever, all those come under the ambit of what we call as religious life, or what we call as religion. Whether we accept what religion says or we don't accept what religion says, or whether we question what religion says, or whether we choose not to question what religion says, all that we will take it up as a different discussion later on in this series. We will see that later. For now, all those things are called religious practices or religious lifestyle. Let's understand that for now. They are not spiritual. That is not spiritual. Practicing my religion is not spirituality. Then what is spiritual or spirituality? Spirituality is purely knowledge based. What type of knowledge? We saw directly beneficial knowledge. Directly beneficial knowledge, we saw that this is the liberating knowledge. And for this liberating knowledge, our scriptures call this as Atma Vidya or self-knowledge. Because it is directly benefiting, when does the benefit come to you? It is here and now. You get the benefit here and now. It is not a promise for the future. Have you heard of this group called existentialists? They are this pragmatic group. Make hay while the sun shines group of people in this society. That group or that person comes and tells you, boss, there is no solution for human problems. Don't ever dream that you can have solution for human problems. And the other one comes and tells you, the solution is there but not here, elsewhere. Okay, you have to do something, follow something, you follow me. Okay, you follow me and later on you go to somewhere else. Now, if all what they say is true, that there is no solution for my human problem, or at least there is no solution for the problem here and now, then I am nailed to all the problems of my life for good. To all the pains of my life, I am stuck with all the pains of my life for good. As much as a prisoner is, with very limited choices available. But suppose the smallness, the notion of smallness, the sense of smallness that I have, the notion of finitude that I have, is something that I have imputed to the self. If this judgment of finitude or inadequacy is not true, if this is not true, suppose this is not true, if this is true, then there is no solution, right? If I am really inadequate, if I am really limited, and problems and suffering is only my lot, then there is no solution. If that is real, there is no solution, right? But if it is something that I have imputed to the self and my judgment is untrue, suppose, say that this judgment is untrue, what if it is untrue? What if it is untrue? Then my judgment about myself is wrong. that I am inadequate, that I am lacking is wrong, then what becomes the possibility? That I am not small. It means I don't have a problem at all, but all along I have been wrongly mistaking that I have a problem. Doesn't this mean a lot to a person who is suffering in his life from the problem of inadequacy and lacking, from the problem of self-judgment? So in that case, don't you think you should give yourself a fair chance, right? What if the way I have been looking at myself was wrong all along? The way I have been considering or judging myself to be, what if it was wrong? Then shouldn't I take up this pursuit of Shastra studies, which is going to reveal the reality to me? We saw that to derive the full benefit of Shastra studies, Vedanta Shastram, one has to go to a guru or a traditional teacher, and self-study is not suggested, right? Finally, I go to a teacher. The teacher will not say, listen, you have come to a very unique teacher. Teacher will not say that. Okay, the teacher will say, listen, you are actually unique. You are unique. You are great. In fact, you are the only one. Shrinvantu Vishve Amritasya Putraha. Upanishad says. Swami Vivekananda took this vakyam to the United States in his talks. And the problem which you think you have is not real. Where this is revealed to you, what does that mean? I need to inquire whether at all I really have a problem. Right? And the one who tells you that you are unique is not going to promise you any fancy things. Right? That is not required. The teacher does not require to control, or the teacher does not require to manipulate anything. All that the teacher wants to tell you is that, how come you don't see this reality about yourself, which is evident? This is something that you're missing, right? So that you are free, that you are already free, and in fact, you are the truth of all. This mind-boggling revelation is unfolded by Vedanta Shastra. This is the teaching of Vedanta Shastra. So when I say I am bothered, why are you bothered? This is because of the relationship between I and something which is not the I. You know, something between the I and not the I. That causes the botheration. Because I have not understood three things in this world. The entirely Vedanta Shastra classifies everything into three: Jiva, Ishwara and Jagat. Jiva is the self, Ishwara is God, and Jagat is everything else around me. Where once I understand what Jiva is, what Ishwara is, and what Jagat is, the only three things a human being needs to know, and where one is clear about the relationship between the three, this triad, then perhaps nothing can bother you, because there is nothing else other than these three. Vedanta helps you to see the uniqueness of yourself, in fact, the singularity of yourself, that you alone are, and that everything else is not different from you. That is your glory, that is your greatness. Vedanta is here to tell you that you are great. You think you are small? No, you are great. And I am telling you, you cannot begin solving your problems without understanding the source of your problems. If you try solving your problem without understanding the source of it, you will never reach the solution for it. And what is the source? The ignorance about the reality of yourself, the truth of yourself, the ignorance about the truth of yourself. All along, I spent my life seeking approval, being dissatisfied. Have I really had the guts to question myself and ask whether am I the person that I think I am? Am I sure that I am the person that I think I am? On what basis did I come to the conclusion that this is the person I am? On what basis? Have we asked these fundamental questions to ourselves? An intelligent thinker starts thinking on these lines and gives the benefit of doubt to Guru Shastram. And Vedanta says there is no real problem at all. And when you come to the teacher does not promise you that you will become free or you will be free. What does that mean? If I say you will become rich, it means that you are not rich now. Right? If the teacher says you will become free, it means you are not free now, which is wrong, which is not real. Right? So, you are free when here and now is what Vedanta reveals to you. But how do you say that? Here and now? How am I already free? That is the teaching that we are going to see. Right? And if I say you will become free one day, it is like legitimizing an illegitimate problem. Something which is wrong, you are trying to, look at it as right. You are giving some other perception as though it is right. No. So, making it look right. That is not what is to be done. Right? So, I am not going to promise you anything. And if I promise you, you will have a doubt whether you should trust me or not trust me, right? She's saying something. So do I follow her? Do I unfollow her? Do I continue with these classes or do I say, okay, it's enough? Enough, no. 2 classes I attended, it's enough. So the truth is that you are already free. You are already free. And we will see that in the teaching, because this is not a promise for the future. This is not a promise for the future, because we see that the teaching is I am already free, and we saw that this is a matter of knowledge. When we say this is a matter of knowledge, it means it is not a matter of belief. It is not a matter of belief. And this is the teaching that unfolds the truth of myself to me. And this is, as we saw, is not a matter of belief. It is a matter of knowledge. Then what happens? Now there is a challenge. You have a challenge to understand this, right? Because it is a matter of knowledge. You have a challenge to understand this. And until you understand this, or until you want to understand this, you are stuck to me. Okay? Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadhaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om. So as we saw, this will be a lecture series where we will take up different topics in every class. We saw the introduction in the previous class as the first session, and today we saw about on the topic on human complexes and the helplessness. And we also saw as an introduction to the next topic, which is Purushartha. We saw what is Purushartha, and we will be seeing more details about Purushartha in our next session. The human pursuit, otherwise called Purushartha. So there is one suggestion that came up that we will follow this practice of circulating the class summary, just like how we did for the previous series of classes on Vishnu Sahasranama. So there is one team who is working with me to prepare the summary of every class. They have already sent me the summary of the first class, which I will review and have it posted in the groups for the benefit of all. And we will also have the summary of this class done and made available to all. The other suggestion that came up is to encourage participation from all students. We will be classifying you into 12 groups where you will be able to interact. You will have an in charge through whom you can communicate and interact. And the suggestion is that the first 5 to 10 minutes of every class, we will have a presentation of the previous class by every group in the order of their group. Now, group 1 does the presentation next week, then group 2 will do it on the week after. So that way, we will have all the groups participating at least once in this series. So your presentation can be by way of reading out the gist of the class, the previous class, or it can be, you can make it more interesting by evolving a dialogue form or an interaction, something like that, between 2-3 people. It's up to you, your creativity and how you want to present it. So we will, shall we do this from the next class? Yes, no, or it is not a command or something from my side. So it will be nice if you can be done only if you are interested. Yes, no. Why no response? I don't. Chat messages. You can write, you can ping in the chat messages. No? Nobody is in? Admin blocked. Oh, okay. Maybe you can post it in the group or group available, or is it only admins only? You can post it in the WhatsApp group, and we can have a session. Anyway, the summary, the PDF of the summary will be circulated to you every week. Okay, this is just to encourage participation from everybody. Yes, there is going to be a series of Shri Rudra Vyakhyana classes commencing tomorrow morning, which is Monday morning here in India. Timings are 6 a.m. to 7:30 a.m. From 6 to 6:30, we'll have the Shri Rudra Parayanam, followed by the explanation of Shri Rudram from 6:30 to 7:30 a.m., which will be Sunday evening or Sunday night for you. So those who are interested, this will be in Tamil by Acharya Rangaji. So those who are interested can join in the series, and you can draw the full benefit out of it. Hari Om. We'll meet next week, same time.